Right, kill orange, secure the seals, end the mission. Theocrat Enclave. They have martyrs research. I'll make a couple just to have some kind of defense force here. On their own they're not good, but if we have any kind of a sturdier unit there, which we don't, but we could survive with Brew Brothers. They're just not what I'm really looking for. More about if you want to have a healer. At least it's something. We had the advantage, but they can seduce, so it's not without risk. I don't want to go anywhere near that when we're under a curse. It lowers our resistances and defense and morale. We have decent casting options here though. Not sure if I want to use them. But it's there if we need it. Succubus is the real danger. Wait, right. Could have done the wing beat. I want to wait the cursing out if I can. Okay, it actually cannot be removed. And rather it won't go away on its own. Cure disease removes it for some reason. I suppose the cure disease, the problem with that ability is not the ability, it's that it's poorly named. It's vastly more useful than the name implies. We can counter that with a bless. They're gonna seduce. Yep. That's the only really dangerous moment we're gonna face. I have to take the flanking attacks. Thing is, I'm not sure if I want to take so many. If these die, that's not actually much of a problem. These guys being here is a much bigger problem. You can do a single attack, which leaves him vulnerable to flanking. Right, good for us. Oh. 5 points to spend, nowhere to really put the points into. We're level 15, so we're not gonna get new hugely useful abilities. At least I don't think so. So it's more or less we have what we have. Touch of Faith is a decent buff. Maybe some survivability. Our physical endurance is pretty weak. Tribute. I'll take money. I don't want to think about money, so I can basically blindly just upgrade everything as far as money is concerned at least. Right, so what path to take? Yeah, the capital is downstairs, so likely. It would be a fitting place for a goblin anyway. I'm hoping he'll cast some spells in these fights. I have nothing. He has nothing to gain by doing that. But it would make him more vulnerable when the attacking army pushes through his unit stack. A lot of flyers and swan darter. The enemy force is fairly weak. What to do with you? Just straight up murder the guy, I guess. No need to be fancy about this. Be very close to a level up. 3 points. Ancient knowledge, not that useful for us. But we could get the rebirth ability, so that would be worthwhile. Basically, the army that's going in where the Goblin Heartland is would be... If any one of the guys pretty much survives the fight, we would be... no one would basically die. Well, we could lose support units, I guess. I have enough casting power that I could cast it on one at least, maybe two. So one of the heroes and maybe the priest, because we're... No, not even the priest matters anymore. Yeah, in about one turn I'll get the heal on my own. Going to try to confirm that my hunch is correct here. Yeah, there's some kind of a massive city here. It's fully protected. At least one massive city. Pretty much undefended though. Also, it's definitely not the capital. But I would hazard a guess that this is exactly where we want to be. Healing. Resistances. Loading. Interns for flying mount. Yeah, the fell horse can suck it at this point. We could take a couple of martyrs with us on this group. They have enough staying power that the martyrs should actually be a genuine benefit. We need a healer. Yeah, this is actually not that bad. 2 martyrs and the ability to recover. I don't think I want to stick my nose there with these guys. They're not up to the task of facing tier 3 units. Not in such large numbers at the very least. Wait, just stay there. It's a very likely victory without any casualties, but I'll still fight it manually, because we're in a special effect area. Every one of them has stasis shield, or static electric shield. I'm not particularly interested in taking new recruits from a location like this. In order to get the shock serpents to be useful, you have to spend such a massive amount of time training them up. It's not worth it. We're gonna eat a firebomb, but I don't particularly care. There's only a single one, so damage won't be too drastic. Don't want to go into melee range. It's an inefficient way to kill them, but getting stunned is such a big deal. I just want to avoid it no matter what. Right, we'll just maneuver a little bit. They don't want to attack us next time, we'll wing buff them to hell. Okay, even if we use this, we're gonna be affected by the static shield. Who's still alive? You. Okay, we're here for the ancient knowledge points. Hopefully we'll get a new ability out of this. And 90 points? I mean, that's pathetic. We benefited basically nothing out of this. I suppose a little bit of experience for what it's worth. Right. Still not getting what I want. Life and resistance. I can probably spend around 5 points with still having 10 points at the next level up for the ability to not get blanked anymore. Yeah, I think I'll spend 5 points. Not the huge amount of great abilities here. I'll just take some resistances. It's always a safe bet. Yeah, and that's about it. Don't mind them attacking me. It's a fight outside the city. So, Chaos Rift. They have a decent force, but nothing that I would consider all that impressive. And have a huge area to move around in. They have two creatures that are basically the shadows that are dangerous. Everything else is sort of trash. I keep forgetting that he can actually succeed in this junctioning. I'm over relying on the Chaos Rift. Basically, it can fail, and if it fails in a fight like this, I'm in real trouble. I at least need a couple of turns in before it fails. At the same time, they're basically boned in a way, because they wasted their casting points in trying to disjunction things, and I have my full casting points on the main hero. I might be able to do a little bit nasty things here. Light weakness on the goblins. think I'll breathe. This doesn't do all that much damage, but it has a good chance so that he's inflicting some debuffs on him. So he would be more vulnerable to other things. Resisted everything. Disjunction failed, so this is the worst thing possible for him. He wasted all of his casting potential, achieved nothing, and now our attacks keep pummeling down. We're getting reinforcements in return. I don't think the disjunction mechanic is good. I think it's more interesting with the critical successes and the failures. The problem is, I think there should be some benefit even in fail. Basically, if you start the disjunction someone's spells, there should be a consequence to the one who's casting the spell, even if you fail to remove the spell effect. So it doesn't have to be much, like they can screw up their mobility or something, like they have to actually put effort into maintaining the spell against the disjunction. Just something that makes it worthwhile. It's like almost all of the debuff spells or spells that have a chance-based thing has some kind of a secondary effect that makes it worth using, even if you don't have a huge chance of actually succeeding. The disjunction and dispelling are the only exceptions. Well, only exceptions I can think of. Everything else pretty much has a guaranteed effect of some sort. These don't get any new abilities as they level up. In melee strength increases, but only at a single damage type. Ooh, assassins! They'll get a free attack if I keep ignoring them. Frost Elemental does basically nothing to the Shadow Stalker, so I should not attack it. Actually have a huge amount of choices, so might be better if we just act as a decoy. Like we're totally worthless against them. I'll kill the Blight Doctors. Lightning attacks are useful though. I'm hoping one of them lands on them. I need to kill those. I'm putting myself in a somewhat of a vulnerable position because of that, but I don't think it's not too bad of a position. Right, only one guy can attack us and he can attack me twice. I can spot that. Ooh, they have a bard. Seduction possibility. We're pretty much safe at this point. No more bars. I weaken this at all. Just want to make sure he's vulnerable to light. Yep, he's taking decent damage now. No point risking it though. There's no way they can do anything damaging anymore. He had bad luck. He should have been able to disjunction at least one of my battlefield spells. Pure good. Orcs are happy. Another alliance force. I had a plan for my points, I'm pretty sure. Now I can't recall it at all. Maybe extra casting points or something like that. Some of the abilities are actually quite nice. I just think Sorcerer is the only one where you basically can cast your way through the entire fight without having to have any kind of good unit there. Mighty me. No. Exalted Marchers. When reached Cold Metal, they evolve into Exalted. Retaining Absorb Pain ability. That's actually good. Because the biggest problem with Martyrs is that they're not all that tough, so they die off quickly. And Exalted would be sort of I guess a flying unit. Much tougher. So they don't usually have Absorb Pain ability. So this would be the only way to get them. Grow them yourself. Still, things are looking very good for us. I think the phase of the mission scenario where it's sort of under question how things might be going is definitely going to be put to an end. They only have what? Yeah, that's a bit in. They only have their one hero and their one city. After that, it's all over. And I'm gonna rush to end it. I'll have the secondary hero come up and take over the towns here. But they just don't heal up at all on their own. Could you do something else? We could take these towns, but I don't think it's worth it. I doubt that their main leader is here either, so not sure what I would gain from that. I need to keep an eye out on if he pops up somewhere. Where he pops up, that's where the capital is too. Still don't understand why he hasn't looted all this shit. Festival of Light. Didn't we just have a Festival of Light? I'm getting another Festival of Light. Okay. Build a settler after that. Gonna rebuild the center city. Use it as a base to take the seals. Nagamage, Banefire. And a huge stack of enemies. Not really dare to leave here now. He's definitely withdrawn all forces to some kind of inner area. I would hazard a guess that this is the inner area. Right, Throne City. Don't see his leader, but there's not that many places where he could be. He could be there for all I know. He might have some kind of concealment. Either way, I'll play the Throne City out of the fight. Start taking over the rest of the cities. I'll accept this quest. I think I have multiples of these now. No, I didn't take the Wyvern Egg quest because I already had a Wyvern Egg. Like, Another player took the city, I guess. Killed the hero, killed the enemies too. Right. We have to retake it. It is an allied city. They took control of Naga's leader, wounded themselves a little bit, but that's it. Pathetic performance from our guys. Holy cow. I'll take your small army. And small army it is. At least it's a tier 3 unit there, so it's not bad. Need to see what's at the end of this road. Nothing. So I'm guessing this is just a lengthy dead end. Where's their leader? Yeah, he's sitting here, being all concealed up. So this is basically the end of them. End of the resistance. I'm not sure if I want to go Chaos Rift. He's gonna start disjunctioning it immediately. And he has 70 casting points. How much does disjunctioning cost? Well, I can't do it. It's not a cheap ability though. You can probably try to do it twice. I think we should start with the weaker one, just to get the disjunctioning out of the way a little bit. The Succubus and the Bard are the game-changing units here. I don't think I'm immune to mind control. Realistically, I only have 2 heroes, a healer and 3 shitty elementals. I'm not exactly in the perfect position to do anything. We want to get rid of the weaklings. We don't want to kill the Bard, that's the only reason they're not charging us really right at the start. Light immunity. Right. You have to weaken them. The elementals have to work in a group. Some of them can use weaken, some of them can deal their poison damage. Junction success. He had 70 casting points. I want to see how much he has now. 10 points. It's actually much cheaper than I thought. Let him keep disjunctioning. I can do other type of casting than the Chaos Rift. I can do 2 chain lightnings and then some healing or static electricity on top of that. It's not like we're limited to that one thing. Also, they don't have a healing capability. So every piece of damage we throw their way will stick. We could target Izzo the rat too. He's actually very weak. He's taken casting points for pretty much everything. The good thing about the rift would be though that it's he basically will be countering it after that. Be doing anything else. I can only cast this twice, which isn't enough to kill anything. It's a risk, but we've been doing this for a long time, or we have a real reason to change now. If it fails, we still are not totally out of the fight. We'll make things interesting at the very least. I wonder if you can cast multiple weekends on a single target. We're gonna basically sacrifice the elementals. I want status effects on these guys. The chances are pretty low because they're in defensive stance, but something usually sticks. It's not a lot of damage, but it's also not too durable of a unit, so a little damage can go a long way. Disjunction, at least I got one hit, Crook Rift Lightning hit, so that will still help even if the disjunctions and a single summoned unit. Yep. So, pretty much the reverse of the previous fight we had against this guy. This time everything goes his way. This is a good distraction though. These absolutely need to be weakened, otherwise the light elementals won't be able to do anything to them. Resist, 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 resist. Right. See if you're good for something besides casting spells from the background. Cast a few spells. Not sure what would be worth our while. Just doing holy damage on the shadow creatures might be a worthwhile thing to do. They're fairly hard to do any significant amount of damage to. 45%. We could also try to play Izo the Rat out of the fight. It's by far the most dangerous unit still here, so not a bad idea. What about you? Are we gonna attack or what? I think we should attack. We can do about 10 points of damage. Although, I am a good distraction here. Basically drawing out some of their units. Even if they charm the fucker, they'll be out of the fight for a couple of turns. Cursing. Right. Casting the weakness was a good idea. Wyvern doesn't give a shit. Kill one Shadow Stalker. Try to do bad things to their leader. Kill the bards. I think we want to do in general bad things to their leader. But we need to kill the Shadow Stalkers. They're way too dangerous to be ignored. Probably can't be webbed, and physical damage is hard to sort of do to them. I think we should play this one. Play units out of the fight, so we're not gonna be overwhelmed. Yeah, he's dangerous, but he's still just a single unit. I could potentially kill their leader. Certainly kill the bard. Weakened, disgusted, unit in hated terrain. I'll pull the heroes further away from them. What is he doing? My elementals might not be great, but I'll still win this direct exchanging of blows. Right, I think we're in a fairly good position now. It doesn't matter if we die or not. The important thing is we basically can reduce their attacks to the point that they're worthless. Right, there's only one guy left. I don't think we need to do anything special here. That's a lot of debuffs. That's an unhappy succubus. I think I'll take this chance to heal. I don't want to lose anyone anymore. At worst, they might be able to seduce someone. That's something I can counter easily at this point. Right. Everything went against us, but we still won. We have completed a quest. Interesting looking stuff. Some items don't recognize. The blowpipe. Worthless piece of crap. Ah, I've won the campaign. I suppose it doesn't wait for you. I understand why it does that. I mean, what's the point of continuing? Because the other factions can't win anymore. So it's just a pointless thing to continue on. I was still hoping to basically explore and loot things. Well, unexpected end, but I think a reasonable end, so no complaints. This should be probably a final
Prime
mission.
seals stand open. Ham had the power to do what he wanted, yet he thought only of us. Ham destroyed our foes and created a safe place for the halflings to live in. The energizing magic surge from the Prime Seals faded away soon after and the skies returned to normal. However, the lesser seals are now revealed. There will be many who want a taste of such power, and many who will abuse it. The Shadow Realm will draw closer and closer each time a seal gets opened. It won't be long until the first tears appear, spilling power into our world from the other side. Ham fears that eventually, when the Shadow Realm is close enough, the old Wizard Kings might be able to return to this land. For now, I intend to give our soldiers time to celebrate our victory. We have fought hard. I was called from my bed late last night. Scouts had seen eerie lights hovering above the northeastern seal and dared not investigate without an army at their backs. It was a balmy summer night, but the wind was cold as we approached the seal. I thought I heard my mother's voice, but she's been gone for many years. My companions heard nothing. The altar was awash with candles, a sea of flickering flames arranged in swirling, complex patterns. The air seemed to shimmer like it was alive, the shadows forming figures and faces before melting away again. In the middle of it all, a figure kneeling as if in prayer, whispering. I opened my mouth to speak, and the figure turned to face me. It was Carl Hushwick, his skin pallid and grey, glowing eyes spilling sickly light over his tattered robes. He smiled at me. She has returned, my lady, she has returned. And then he was gone. Our searchers have found no trace of him. He has left these isles. Whatever he and his lady wanted here, they have obviously found it. We are safe, but I shudder to think what we have unleashed on the world.
Yeah, undead. That's what you've unleashed, very likely. So, end of the campaign. Okay, didn't see that. Just 3 missions, that's it. Um, um, Staring at the playing time, it's still a decent chunk of content, but yeah. I got my understanding in that the Golden Realms expansion is a lesser DLC compared to the Eternal Lords, which is a more meaty one. But I don't actually have any details on what contains what and what's the extent of things. So I'm a bit surprised at the length of this. I was expecting one more, especially because our heroes were sort of a mixed bag of. I think some started at level 6 in the last scenario. So and yeah, the thing is, the length is the only thing I suppose I can complain about. Other than that, this is definitely stands up to the Age of Wonders 3 standard game content. I'd say it's basically improved on all aspects that I've encountered. Any changes? The basically larger empire quests that you can achieve, new monsters, new items, new abilities, new things you can construct in your cities based on what type of sites are around it. So you have okay, you have a lot of additional options. So I have no real complaints as far as the actual content is concerned. The only complaint is I could have used a additional mission or two, but no real complaints about that. I guess that's more or less comes down to is it worth your money? But uh, these are not exactly new DLCs anymore, so you can get them at decent prices. So that's not really a concern anymore. But yeah, the Halfling faction I suppose is the biggest inclusion. I would guess the Eternal Lords makes the Undead a playable faction because the monster cities are fairly poor. It makes no sense to have those things available in their current form in if you actually have to play or get to play with the undead. I don't know how they would work. They would have to have some of these different type of mechanics to deal with the city construction. A lot of some of the negatives are morale and which I guess the undead can have. Usually they don't. But the other is that population. That doesn't really work with the undead quite so much. Don't know. I guess we'll find out when we play it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna play it immediately, but this wasn't that lengthy, so I certainly have the itch to play more Age of Wonders. But yeah, I guess there's nothing really more to say. It seems like it's like an introduction to the next stage of the story. Sort of, I guess the game makers want the wizard rulers to return to some extent. I sort of I would prefer if they do, because the world that the Age of Wonders 3 started in is not quite as interesting as the one they had in Age of Wonders 1 or 2. So yeah, I would be story-wise, as much as it means in a game like this, I would certainly be open to at least some return to the situation we have in Age of Wonders 1. The Shadow Realm I'm not that keen about because story-wise it was played as such an existential threat to the entire world, so you can't just casually reopen that. Mm, yeah, it's a Golden Realms expansion. Content-wise, the quality is fine. I would say quantity, on the other hand, is sort of questionable. But that was a criticism that probably was more relevant when the expansion in the first came out. Now it's still it's worth the price I paid for it. Let's put it that way.